Welcome to RosemalingClasses.com. Today we have a great opportunity. We're going to be speaking with Vesterheim Gold Medalist Tonya Mandy. So welcome, Tonya.
Hi, glad to
Hi.
be here. Glad to be here.
Yeah. So I'm going to just for the group, I'm going to read your bio just to kind of get everybody caught up on you. Tonya Mandy grew up in Rapid City, South Dakota, and began her Rosemaling journey in 2014 with no prior art background. That's pretty impressive. In 2018, she was awarded a South Dakota Arts Council Traditional Arts Apprenticeship with Judith Shenstead, where she began freehand painting from old pieces. In 2020, she received a fellowship from the American Scandinavian Foundation to study color and pigment in Norway with Anna Hesvik. In Minneapolis with Judith Shenstead. In 2024, she earned her gold medal in Rosemaling from Vesterheim. And for anyone who's not familiar with Vesterheim, Vesterheim is the Norwegian American Museum down in Decorah, Iowa. And each year they have, I don't know what you want to call it, Tonya, like an exhibit and
national
judging.
exhibition, I think they call it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's to earn a gold medal is pretty impressive. There's a lot of things that go into it and a lot of dedication. So kudos to you for achieving that.
Thank you.
So today, what we were going to decide we were going to talk about is the upcoming Rosemaling Coast to Coast Convention that's taking place in Minneapolis, June 19th through the 22nd. And you have a couple classes in that convention. And I kind of wanted to go over and just talk about those classes and what the students are going to learn. So the first class I want to talk about is building a telemark design. And let me read the description for everyone. In this class designed for advanced beginners to intermediate students, you'll learn the foundational techniques of telemark rosemaling, one of the most popular and recognized styles. Scroll structure is the foundation of telemark rosemaling. Learning how to construct scrolls, the placement, and how to support flowers with substantial stems and distribute color to create strong designs. Designs will be freehand painted on a surface of your choice, and a portion of the class will be spent on design techniques of telemark pieces. Bring a piece you painted, and we'll spend time discussing the strong aspects of the design and what changes could be made to improve the composition. Don't be shy. The class will even deconstruct the weaknesses of the instructor's design. I love that. So can you share with someone who might be thinking about joining this class, what they should expect to get out of it and what things not to be afraid of?
I painted with patterns until I started studying under Judith. And the first time that I painted freehand, it was a little bit terrifying. I think you have like, can you do it? Can you do it? Can you do it? And you can. And it's extremely freeing once you start painting without patterns. It's not, it doesn't make patterns bad, but it's just a freedom that makes things boundless once you can do it. But you need to understand how scrolls are really constructed. And I think if you spend your whole entire time painting from patterns, sometimes you never really get why things are the way that they are. And when given the chance to do it on your own, sometimes you don't have a confidence about where these scrolls should go and what they should do. And it's one of those things that once you start, we will start, and we'll start with our C, right? We'll start with our main C. We'll talk about where it should be. We'll talk about that scrolls need friends. They need scrolls inside of scrolls, and when is too many scrolls, and how they should be varying sizes, and where they should go, and what makes a scroll structure really strong. And when you can paint yourself into a corner. I paint myself into corners all of the time, and that's okay. But we will try to talk about, if you want to sit down and do this by yourself, here's some really good fundamentals to have in your head. And we call it the conveyor of learning. It's like a conveyor belt where you stick one thing on and it comes off, and you won't even fully understand why you learn all the things that you do. But later on, even if it's a couple of years down the line, you'll be like, oh, I totally get that. So I really would like to give people the building blocks and the tools to make a really strong telemark design. And placement of flowers, how, like, what is the piece asking for? What is, because I think often we say, I'm going to take this design and put it on this thing, instead of saying, I'm going to take this piece. What is this piece asking for? And so those are some of the things that we are going to do in there.
Wow.
Oh, also, we're going to work with round brushes that are probably longer than what most people are used to. And that's one of the things as well, that at first it's like, whoa. And then after you do it for a while, you're like, there is a lot of freedom in painting with this brush, because it it does a lot more of the work than some other brushes do, where you have to do the work. So once, that's another thing that's a little bit different, that is pretty fun once you start learning how to use those longer brushes.
That's awesome. Now I
Yeah.
know when I started trying to design my own patterns, I was using paper,
Hmm.
and you pencil it out, and a lot of the design just looked wonky.
Hmm.
And I noticed that when you did it with a brush, that kind of fixed it. I mean, um, and so I can see we're painting freehand right on the piece. The brush will naturally, in a lot of ways, create the proper scroll.
Yeah, definitely. I think I have spent a lot of time like sketching. I'll go on vacation and I don't have paint with me, and I'm like, oh, I'll just sketch. And what's so, I think it's kind of really interesting that it is much easier to paint what you're trying to do with scrolls than to do pencil and draw them. And I've obviously painted thousands of scrolls, and even for me, it's hard to accurately draw them. Or you'll if people draw a design and then you go to paint it often, it looks different than what you drew, because it's not the same thing. The color is not the same, the shapes are not exactly the same. And so, I mean, I really would like to say that this class is kind of all about taking a chance if you're afraid, and being willing to kind of crash and burn. We'll talk about that kind of often. I think that I had some pretty serious growth once I kind of got told that I needed to be willing to completely crash and burn. And I think that when you're willing to do that, and I think that's kind of where the magic starts happening a little bit.
And it doesn't have to take long either, does it? I mean,
No, no,
that
oh, painting freehand?
the when they start to when they actually can feel pretty confident doing it, it seems like
No, it's you'll realize that you've got some muscle memory in your head that you don't even know that you got. If you've been painting from patterns, and if you've been painting telemark, there's some stuff back there that it won't take long to pull it out. And then you'll find where you have other weaknesses. Like for instance, when I started painting freehand, I was told, you clearly understand scrolls. You clearly do not understand leaves. And so and it was true. All of it was true. So as we go through, you'll find this muscle memory that you have, and you'll kind of realize what your strengths and weaknesses are once you start kind of doing your own thing.
okay, great, great. So again, this is the Building a Telemark Design.
Hmm.
It's taking place it's a 2-day class, Thursday and Friday, June 19th through the 20th at the Rosemaling Coast to Coast Convention. And then after that, Tonya has another class, Transparent Telemark. And to me, growing up, this to me was always Rosemaling. This is what I saw the
Mm.
most of growing up in Western Minnesota, because I grew up close to Milan, where
Hmm.
a lot of that kind of style of painting was done by local people. So tell me about a little bit about that class.
So we are going to. It's a little more advanced, and it's tricky because it looks easier, but there's some things about it that make you have to think a little bit harder, because we actually only use 4 tubes of paint. 5 if you consider the transparent blenders. So we're really talking about 3 colors, black to line it, and this transparent blender which is where we get the sheer buildup of color. And so we will learn how to basically start with, we would call it colored spit, and then build on the design from there. And there's different transparent blenders. The one that I think most people are going to end up using, because it's available right now, is actually ground up marble with some linseed oil in it, and you add color to it, and then we build and we build, maybe a little bit more like watercolor, how that's built. And then we will learn how to finger paint some flowers, and it's a very traditional thing. If you're not comfortable touching paint, I've got some finger cots that you can use, that you can stick over your fingers and do it. It's a very, very traditional old way of painting. And I think one of the coolest things about transparent telemark is it's a very speedy way, a fast way. You can lay down a design really quickly. It's a little bit more of an advanced class, because we are going to talk about less about scroll construction. We're still going to go over that, but it's really going to be about how do you build that color, what colors do really well and what colors are not strong enough. And you got to be careful about making sure you have enough oomph versus like the red that is always strong no matter what. And then really how to finger paint the flowers, which seems kind of easy, but there's some tricks to it. But I would like people to just feel really great about being able to sit down and produce a piece in a pretty quick amount of time once they really learn this technique.
Awesome. Now, would a person have to have taken the building a telemark design class before taking the transparent telemark, or are they two
Nope.
separate classes?
Nope, they're two separate classes. If you take one, you'll kind of have a lot of my methods and that you'll have some building blocks there that'll make it easier. But if you are somebody who's been painting telemark, come along. We'll make it work. And like I said in the interview about the previous class, it's literally just a piece of cardboard or masonite or whatever you choose to bring. It's not it's okay if we crash and burn.
Awesome.
It's not important. It's not important. It's really just about pushing yourself to learn some new skills and make you feel more confident about how to paint and like what's in your head, your repertoire and what's your head of how you have all these building blocks to produce designs.
Awesome. So again, this is the transparent telemark class happening at the Rosemaling Coast to Coast Convention. This class is a day and a half class. It takes place Saturday, June 21st to Sunday, June 22nd. And these are all online right now, ready for you to register. And again, thank you, Tonya, for joining me. And I can't wait to see you in person in June.
Yes, we'll meet. We'll meet for the first time.
For the first time. We've talked and
Yeah.
been emailing back and forth, but now we get to actually see each other in person. So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.